Hello, BookTube.
Hello.
As you can see, I have a guest. I don't think you need much of an introduction, but this is David Murphy of the eponymous YouTube channel, David Murphy. He made a video a month ago, and it got 50 million views, and that satisfied him. So he's tossed you away.
I'm done, yeah.
But he's come to visit. It doesn't feel like a visit. It feels like just a guest. It doesn't feel like a guest. It feels like someone who lives here coming back. And we went looking for books.
It's weird for me, too. I'll say it's like when you go somewhere and you think, oh, now I have this chore. I have to get this car. I have to find the hotel. I have to do this. Landing here is very similar to landing home. I know where I'm going. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know all the buses. And I know that I'm coming to a comfortable place. So it's just no
he also
stress.
knows that he's going to undergo an MGM-style transformation into a masshole.
I know. I was telling him before, if you're traveling to Germany, you're going to practice your German. If you're traveling to France, you're going to practice your French. And I noticed in the week leading up to this, I've been swearing a lot more than usual, so it adds up.
In defense of the Bay State, I have to say the drivers here warrant it. So,
yeah.
But the very first thing we did was go book shopping. Mm-hmm. Even though we both have more books than we need, and there's a pile of books that I did not mail to him from last time.
I'll take care of those.
Yeah, we're going to take care of a lot.
Yeah, we did our usual routine. On the first day, we've been doing the same thing for
years now.
Yeah, years now, I think. I pick them up, and we go straight to the used book superstore. And then after that, we bounce around to a couple thrift shops, hit a big box store, and come back here, shoot a video, and then load up on calzones and wine and fuss over Frida.
Fuss over Frida?
Yeah.
And then we can watch some interpretive dance clips on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yep, maybe film some TikToks ourselves.
Yeah, a few TikToks.
Yeah.
Or we could just debate for half an hour about what it is we feel like watching, not come to any conclusion, and just watch The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance for the 80 millionth time. Although, I don't know, would it be safe to say that we share the same affection for the slightly more playful John Wayne of the later movies?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, he's not playful in The Shootist, and The Shootist is brilliant. But there is the movies where you get him enjoying himself a little bit more. Well, now that I think of it, he's pretty serious in The Quiet Man. There's nothing wrong with The Quiet Man.
No, that...
Well, anyway, before we get to the evening,
canceled at all,
we have just delineated for you what the evening is here. But first, we'll show you our books. So I got a slight bit more. So I'll start off with a batch of mine, because I was looking at one clearance wall of the used book superstore, and suddenly, I wasn't seeing much of anything, when suddenly I saw a vast tranche of books that someone had obviously unloaded, all on a similar theme. They're all vintage science fiction. So I used the same yardstick at the used book superstore that I try to use anywhere else, which is, would I have got these for this price at the Brattle? And they were all $1, so I did. I got Cemetery World by Clifford C. Mack in this UK edition. Is this a UK edition? Is this a pan? The price is overall that looks important, but that's what it looks like. Oh, no, this is Berkeley. Let's see here. Hal Clement, this terrific cover. I don't know that I know this cover, but I've become a fan of Hal Clement, and these are all, I grabbed all of these, so all the ones that were of interest. There was Jack Chalker there. The Well of Souls books, and there was Jack Chalker there, the Well of Souls books, and there were a lot of Darkover books by Marion Zimmer Bradley, and I
missed those.
It just doesn't work. They don't work for me. They have never worked for me. I found Lee Brackett. There we go. That great cover. Look at that. That's just incredible.
And these were all on the clearance?
Yeah, they're all together. Obviously, they came from the same person. I found another John Brunner. I now have almost... Oh, no, this is Ben Bova, but I did find John Brunner. I'm not as familiar with Ben Bova in his hack churn out science fiction novels stage as I should be. I mean, I know him much better from later books, later and more ambitious books. I found it one of these best of. I love this series. As soon as I saw this one, I looked for others. There was only this one of Frederick Brown. This series that Del Rey did of best of, where these were the introductions to a lot of science fiction fans, to a lot of the great writers. I once had this whole set. I had all of them, even the authors I don't particularly like, are so well arranged in this series that the books are still readable. The most popular one is the best of Cordwainer Smith, but somebody should reprint this whole series. No idea Del Rey has the rights or the interest. And I found a John Brunner in a yellow spine DAW mass market paperback of Polymath there with this great cover. I have almost all of John Brunner's little science fiction novels, and Keith Laumer, his Retief series. This is Retief at Large. There were other Retief novels there, but the cover art wasn't quite as good. Here's Retief with his feathered Farrah Fawcett hairdo. And this is a collection of short stories about the two-fisted diplomat, Retief, who is constantly going behind his superiors' backs to solve intergalactic diplomatic squabbles the old-fashioned way. And they're wonderful, and this is the volume that I fell in love with for Retief, so I never see it. Like I always say, with these old mass markets, you got to grab them, because their numbers are finite, and they are... for every one that makes it to the used book superstore, there are 4 that are cleared out of somebody's attic and thrown into the dump without anyone thinking that they're resellable. So there you go. That's a block of science fiction.
Okay, then I'll do a few, I guess. This is...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Herman Wouk, War and Remembrance. This I haven't read. I have The Winds of War at home, and I have read that, and I really liked it, but I never went on to this.
They are good, aren't they? Good and meaty.
Yeah. Is this as good?
There's a little more air in it.
A little more air, okay.
It's exactly what you would expect if Herman Wouk was not expecting The Winds of War to be a hit. And so all of a sudden, I've got this great story planned about a merchant marine captain who goes bad in the Guadalcanal. Oh no, sorry, Herman, you got to do a sequel. It feels like a sequel.
Got you. Okay,
but not for the whole length of it. Not at all.
No, and this is a pocket edition, it looks like, or that's the publisher's pocket. This won't hold up to more than one reading, but I
never see them
the way it feels in the hands.
I never see them in hardcover. And the trade paperbacks that they did are ugly.
That's what I have at home is a trade paperback, and it's sturdier, but I agree, it's very boring.
I can do 2 at once. Here, I found 2 more Bantam Classics. I love these. I don't know why. I have them all as ebooks. I have them all. Most of them are in the little book room on the Classics bookcase in nice hardcovers or whatever. But I got them anyway. I got The Mayor of Casterbridge because you Hardyites are always at me to love your boy. You always are. You're more persistent than the Dickensites.
Really?
And I think it's because they sense correctly that this could be just a minor wavelength adjustment. That I've had a number of Hardy fans tell me over the years that I should love him. Okay. No one's ever said that about Dickens. So I got The Mayor of Casterbridge, and also in this series, I got Vanity Fair. Now, this was I just grabbed it because I love these old classics. I cannot imagine reading this book in this format. But you never know. I have my favorite format of it is actually kind of odd. It's the old Barnes & Noble hardcover. I just, for some reason...
those are really good, though.
Yeah, the ones with the borders on the picture on the front. They have really good binding, decal edges. I love them. So I got those 2. Then I think we can swap 1 for 1 from now on.
Okay, well, I'm going to do 2 together. This is going to make
sense.
These are a theme on my channel, on the halls when I've been here. These are Viking portables. There can't be that many that I don't have. I should sit down and make a list. But as I'm saying, these are Viking portable library. This is the portable Conrad. And then this is the portable Cervantes. I don't know how I didn't look at the table of contents. I don't know how this works.
It can't be all of Don Quixote, can it? Or is it? Is it all of Don Quixote?
I highly doubt it. But you...
Sure as heck looks like
a whole bunch of it. Yeah.
So Don Quixote on some notes to his landlady.
Basically. But I mean, I think there's a portable Dickens, there's a portable Tolstoy, and there's some of those authors where you just curious to see how they do it, see how they pull it off. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I found a romance. This is one of mine, right? You separated them. Yeah. This is Sabrina Jeffries. I love Sabrina Jeffries. This is Undercover Duke.
Unless it's a romance that takes place at Monte Cassino or Bastogne or something, maybe.
Or maybe von Mises loved his housekeeper. I just grabbed it because it was on the clearance wall, and my romances are temporarily sequestered, so it'll have a spot there for a light reading.
And then here I got this edition of East of Eden, which is really nice. I have another copy at home, and it's got this cheesy BBC live version they did decades and decades ago. I never saw it or anything. I just looked at the inside cover. That's what it said it was. And it's a little waterlogged, so I do need another copy, and so I grabbed this one, which I think is lovely.
It's a little forlorn in a way. You want to like fiction. You do. You can't manage it. But
No, I just try. We were talking about this in the car. I think the last, I haven't made a video in a little bit, but the last 5-6 books I've read were all novels, and they were fine.
I got a hardcover of A Night to Remember, the thing that I just talked about on Shorty September. And again, I saw this. This was what? This was expensive. This was $13. And it's possible that if I saw this copy with a covering already on it inside the Brattle shop for $13, it's possible that I would have passed on it. But I never see it in hardcover, and I love the book. I've read every major account of the Titanic, and I keep going back to this one. This is actually one of 2 little book room buys that I got today. Things that I'm sure are going into the little book room, which is kind of rare at the used book superstore. That's usually not what I get there. So I just talked about it. I have it. That's great.
And then here, this is the Stephen Jay Gould box set. So this is what Panda's Thumb, The Flamingo Smile, and Hen's Teeth and Horse's Toes. There was a 2-volume box set, which I think is Flamingo's Smile and Panda's Thumb. I might be wrong about that. And that's what I have. So I don't have the 3-set box set here. And this, who did this? Norton editions. These paperbacks don't hold up super well, I will say. But nonetheless, nice to have.
I got my other little book room. Actually, I got more than one little book room thing. This Otto Penzler's big book on vampires. I have the trade paperback of this, but this is a naked hardcover, much more durable. And these are terrific. The Otto Penzler, his books are great. His anthologies are great. If you were looking for a great anthology on some subject matter, vampires or zombies or espionage fiction or whatever, you can't go wrong with him.
So is this the same as that big book series?
Some of his were called that. Yeah, this one is not, but some of them were.
Because like pulp, ghost stories.
Yep.
That kind of. Okay.
Yeah, locked room mysteries and all that. And if his name is on it as the editor, you're in luck because he's fantastic. And these have the double columns, and also oddly enough, his introduction both to the volume itself and to each individual author, they are worth the price of admission right there. Just those things alone. So, I will get rid of my trade paperback and gladly have this for spooky season.
Then here I have Cold Comfort Deluxe Farm and then a Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition. I've never read this, but I know plenty about it because so many people have enthused about it.
What is the artwork on the flaps? Just more Ross Chast.
More comics. Yeah, more Ross Chast, who's a great New Yorker cartoonist, for those of you who don't know. And I think you might have done, when you were doing your Penguin videos, I think you might have done this too.
I'm sure I did. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that's read it that doesn't love it. Okay, another little book room book. A Star Trek hardcover, Final Frontier. This has this artwork here, and then in the mass market paperback, you had a description of the book, and I think this was up in the corner. But the mass market paperback had a gatefold cover with original artwork on the inside, and you get that on the back here, so that you know that you are dealing with a Vulcan and another Vulcan, a slightly odd Vulcan. There's Captain Kirk. You got to have Captain Kirk, but that's not actually Captain Kirk on the cover. It's meant to sell the book so you get a Starfleet uniform, but that's Captain Kirk's father, who is only on film for 5 minutes in the first lens flare J.J. Abrams movie played by Chris Hemsworth. Otherwise, we only know him from, he's not even mentioned in the books. We only know him from the lore of the show. And this novel tells the story of the very first adventure of the Enterprise, when even the name of the ship was still up in the air. The very first adventure of the Enterprise under the command of Captain April. The first commander of the Enterprise, which, long story. Lots of Star Trek lore.
Sorry, I was blacking out there.
In the Star Trek animated series, we meet Captain April. We're told he's a great explorer and that he was the first captain of the Enterprise. And he returns in this book. But after that, when the producers, the show, the studio was casting around for a new Star Trek franchise, they came up with Star Trek Enterprise. That was going to show the launch of the first Enterprise. And they didn't want a main character named April. Simple as that.
It's not just one Enterprise?
Well, it's recommissioned. If you change it, you honor the name, so you name another ship Enterprise. But they had to do some fancy dancing. That captain is Archer in Star Trek Enterprise, the first episode of Star Trek Enterprise, where we learn that the first captain of the Enterprise has a beagle. But there's been some complicated juggling since then about, well, what do you do with Captain April? Because you've got two people named two of the first captains of the Enterprise, and you get around that by having the different classes of ships. So, here. The point is, I only had this as a mass market. Now I have it as a hardcover. Great. Now we can move to Austrian economics, because everybody finds that interesting.
So far off. This is a Northern Critical Edition. This is St. Thomas Aquinas on politics and ethics. And him on politics is actually how I first encountered Thomas Aquinas. There was, I won't go on for too long. There was a Spanish economic school of thought called, I'm blanking right now, the School of Salamanca. That's what it was. And they were Spanish scholastics. And so I kind of got through that way because I went on this history of thought dive. And they were all citing Aquinas. And so that's why I read him. So I'm curious to see how much I'm familiar with in that.
It feels like there's something missing, though. Well, I guess we did get the Nazis with War and Remembrance. So it feels odd. anyway, I found an old hardcover of Captain from Connecticut, C.F. Forster. This is not a Hornblower novel, but it's terrific. It's a historical novel set in the War of 1812. And I can't remember if I have this in the Little Book Room. This may be another Little Book Room book. I'll put a covering on this. But again, I was just asking myself, would you get it at the Brattle? And I did, so... Here we go. Here we go.
This is a biography of Erwin Rommel. So this is Field Marshal of the Life
I was a little worried
Erwin
there.
Rommel. This I don't know this biography, so we'll see if it's any good. Rommel can be an interesting.
Why do I know that author?
Interesting figure to read about. Here it
has he
says on the
done?
bottom. But it's
he did the book Unsinkable. Which is a Titanic book.
Is that good?
It's fantastic. And in the middle, in the photo insert, there's a picture of an iceberg with a smear of paint along the bottom. Somebody actually took a picture of the Titanic's iceberg the next day. And they had no idea what they were doing. They had no idea what they were taking a picture of. The Titanic's paint was fresh. It was a brand new ship.
Wow.
That's so eerie. But didn't he do something that I would know? Oh, he did a lot that is familiar. But I think his book Distant Victory, about the Battle of Jutland, I think I might know him from that. When is this? When did this come out?
Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, this should be interesting to read about because Rommel can be a difficult person. Like, if you look at the immediate post-war, with people like Little Hart, they were trying to sell the good, German general, the good Wehrmacht myth. And they really propped up people like Guderian, Rommel, Manstein, and the like. And then there's also been a pendulum that has swung the other way, saying, oh, he really wasn't any good. And so you can get either those early reactions or what I think are overreactions now, assessing him as a military commander. But then there's also Rommel, the political figure. And you can have the same sort of situation going on there. What did he know? What did he didn't know? I think it's all pretty obvious. But it can be tough ground to walk on, and I have fairly definite opinions about him anyway. So I'm curious to see how he handles it. Will he balance the political and the, just raw generalship very well, or is he going to be better on one and the other? We'll see. I'm excited. So
I got a World War II thing as well. Life and Fate, Vasily Grossman. I've never seen
that cover.
This trade paperback before. I've never seen it before. It's nice and floppy. It's probably going to take a read a lot better than the standard trade paperback that I'm familiar with.
I recognize that art on the front, though.
Do you?
I feel
You
like
would.
I think that's used on some diary from the Eastern Front. I swear.
Stalingrad, 1942, by Boris Ugorov.
It is. I swear that is used on the cover of a diary of a German officer.
This is one of the great novels of the 20th century, and I love it. So I saw this. I was in the mood to spring on books anyway, so I grabbed it.
Here we go. And then here, this is Brendan Sims. This is Hitler's American Gamble, Pearl Harbor, and Germany's March to Global War. So Germany declared war on the United States. I think it was on the 11th. And I know Brendan Sims tends to take, I don't know if heterodox is too strong of a word, angles. For example, in his biography of Hitler, that's an example. He takes a slightly different angle than a lot of different people's, and I don't know what approach he takes in this. This is 2-3 years old now at this point, and I didn't read it when it came out. So,
are there any interesting
we'll
blurbs?
see. Oh, I didn't even look.
But on the
Not
inside.
on
Let's take a look.
Oh no. Sorry.
Not only are there no Steve blurbs, but there's a Victor Davis Hanson blurb. So we know who he's
And
rooting
Niall
for.
Ferguson right below him.
God help us. Okay. All right, I got a big fat biography. I got H.W. Brandt's his big book on Theodore Roosevelt. I read this when it first came out. I think I got it in advance copy from the publisher before we were talking to each other. But I love reading about this figure, and it's a nice, big, satisfying thing. I could easily go at this again because it's huge, and a third of it will be devoted to William Howard Taft. so. Oh, no, we got the same author.
I know, that's
Oh,
why I was
God.
looking. I was like, I think he just said, yeah. So this is
Oh.
H.W. Brandt's, but this is Traitor to His Class on FDR, and this I actually haven't read, and this I've been negligent on this since it came out, frankly. But I don't know what your opinion is, but I can't stand FDR as a personality to the point where I don't even like reading about him that much.
Me neither.
Okay, that's validating. Thank you. So I've read plenty about him, but this is one that I've skipped over, and I know I shouldn't have. So there was a hardcover there, and I had to get it.
I got a biography of Margaret Fuller. I love this book. Of course, everybody does. It was recognized immediately when it came out in hardcover as the definitive life of Margaret Fuller, and Margaret Fuller is fascinating. Actually, now that I think about it, what about this one for blurbs? What about this one for blurbs? No. Anyway, I saw this and realized right away that I don't have it, and I'm perfectly happy. I don't love it. I love the book, but I don't love it enough to go hunting around for a hardcover. So,
I have one left, so
okay.
go ahead.
I got this thing, a gigantic UK trade paperback of A Suitable Boy. I love this edition. I vaguely familiar with it. I love the American trade paperback with the rug pattern on the cover. I would have grabbed that if I'd seen it today, because this is one of those. I have an ebook of this, and of course, an ebook makes more sense because this is 1,500 pages long. But it's one of those books that I kind of like to have in an actual physical copy. I will. We'll see. This has been read at least once, so we'll see how well it holds up, and then I'll keep an eye out for the American trade paperback, which is in a rare instance better. Should I finish up mine, and then you?
Sure, go ahead.
yeah.
Or
We'll give you
in
one
the
blast
fun.
of something enjoyable before you. This is probably what I would call the find of the day, because I've only ever seen this as a romance novel in mass market paperback. I didn't know it even had a hardcover. This is Michael Ennis, and this is his book, The Duchess of Milan, which is a novel set in the Renaissance. It's got the beautiful deckled edges there, and this one even has the original bookmark with the cast of characters on the cover. How great an idea is that? If you're using this bookmark, you don't even have to do any flipping to the glossary in the back. You can
I
just
should do that
glance
for
it.
Tolstoy.
Yeah, everybody should. It's
The bookmark could be this big, but yeah.
War and Peace as well, or Life and Fate, same way.
Sure.
But this is all about. When did this come out? In the 1980s. There's a long origin story to this that I won't bore you with. This came out in 1992. And I read it, and I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I read it as a mass market paperback, and where the mass market paperback, the front cover had a flap that was perforated, and it was that bookmark. You still got the cast of characters, even with the mass market. And I read it, and I thought it was entertaining, but I was also percolating a Renaissance novel of my own, set in the year 1515, and called 1515, and one of my characters is the same as one in here, Isabella d'Este. Only I took a different tack with her. They don't read the same at all. And I never even thought about this book after that. And then I saw it there, just sitting there at a thrift store shelf in hardcover. So what a treat it's going to be to reread it. And speaking of reading treats,
Okay, so our
Brace
last
yourselves.
book here is Neoconservatism, the autobiography of an idea. This is selected essays of Irving Kristol, who one libertarian writer used to refer to as the field marshal of the neocons. I find old neoconservative writers like this very, very frustrating to read. I tend to like them more when they're writing about culture or books and things like that, so I'll see how much of that is in here.
they're great writing about books, aren't they? Almost all of them are. Why is that?
Oh, yeah. I don't know why. I guess I'll have to think about it while I'm reading it. And yeah, it looks like there is plenty of cultural criticism in here. So it's mostly politics, but there is some.
Is there a lot of book writing in here? Oh no. What would he have written these for? He would have written these for commentary. Yeah.
Yeah, and also one thing that's worth mentioning is neoconservatism. A lot of people nowadays tend to think of it as, let's bomb Iran, but it didn't start as like a foreign policy school, if we want to call it that. There was two divisions. One of them was foreign policy focused, but the other, especially with Irving Kristol, were more domestic policy based. And it's initially people who were on the left or even socialist side of the spectrum, and then moved over to the right. That's sort of how it started.
When did that come out?
So this, I'm sort of guessing it's a reprint, but 95.
95. Does it have his infamous AIDS essay?
Oh, I wonder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah,
goodness
chapter
gracious.
6, so.
Right, wow. Well, he doesn't have anybody to apologize for. He's dead, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, yes.
All right, so there you go. That's it. That is our first book haul.
Norman
I'm sure
Powers
will be many.
alive, though, amazingly.
It is. He's still
Yeah,
alive.
he's still
And
alive.
he is also good on books.
Yeah.
It's, so we obviously you know the drill by now that I have a guest, and that means the endless flow of videos is going to dry up.
And I'm sorry.
Right, it's David's fault. Just blame him. But we'll try to make a video a day. I'll try to make a video a day. But like read alouds, events of any kind, all that sort of stuff, all that's going to be on hold.
Well, I could always read aloud, the biography of Erwin Rommel for your channel if you wanted.
Yeah, where did the time go? We're going to sign off for now and get some food. And any of you who've been here know what the food is.
I had my stomach pumped by the end of the week.
Yeah, but you said,
you
admitted you're craving it.
Oh, yeah, I am a little bit craving a calzone. I've never told you this. On previous trips, I've brought workout clothes just on the idea that I would go to the gym or go for a run. Because the gym I work out at has 3 locations out here. And this time I finally admitted to myself and didn't even bring workout clothes. So
Nope.
I'll suffer and then I'll hibernate for the winter and we'll be fine.
But we'll be back.
Yes, we'll be back.
We're even maybe going to experiment with vlogging. Because he knows how to do it. I don't have any idea, but wouldn't that be fun? So we take I assume we're going to take at least 2 or 3 major field trips. We'll try and take you along.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, now we're going to sign off, and he's all mine.
Help.